Door to welder here. Sorry that looks like I'm filming on a potato right now, but I only got so much storage space and this video is gonna go a while, so it's really more about this video is really more about the talking than it is how it looks anyway. So what we're gonna be going over today is mobile welding equipment, repair, maintenance, industrial mobile welding, etc. So first thing is why do you do mobile welding? Well, as a welder, or any welder, there's, especially around here, we got a lot of competition. There's a lot of other welders, so you have to have something that sets you aside from the other welders. And if you can do that in a shop, like I can only weld this material, I can do, like, say, titanium, and no one else can do it, well, then you're set. But that's not so. So you have to have something that people want and are willing to pay for it that's different. And mine is I do mobile work. And so why would people want a welder to drive out to them? So we're going to go over a little bit of that. So a good example is Friday's job. I have a video of it posted. It's the Walmart AC unit repair job. And the deal with that is it'd be cheaper to pay for the welder to come out there and then pay for the crane to lift the welder's equipment onto the roof. And then have me fix it up there and done. 4 hours. 4 hours. Pays the welder 4 hours, pays the crane operator 4 hours, done. However, it'd be more expensive to remove that AC unit stand, pay the crane to pick it up, pay someone to bring it to the welder shop, then pay the welder the 4 hours to fix it, then take it back, then pay for someone to lift it back up there with a crane and set it back on top. So, in the end, mobile was actually cheaper. And in some instances, also, time is money. Equipment operators, industrial places like factories, sawmills, and whatnot, time is money. And equipment, it's cheaper to pay for the mobile welder to come out and fix that big piece of equipment than it is to trailer it to the welder's shop and have him fix it there and leave it there for a week or whatever while he gets around to it. So then you have industrial settings where this part can be fixed in place and it doesn't need to be disassembled. However, to save time and money, you paid a welder to come out and fix it in place. You don't have to pay for disassembling it, taking it to the welder, and then the welder fixing it, then bringing it back and reassembling the part. So that's another thing as well. So that's why you do mobile. And also, building, erection, and whatnot, you can't exactly build a building in your shop and then take it out somewhere. And you can build handrails in your shop, but you're still going to have to go out and do a certain amount of install and a certain amount, in some cases, a certain amount of welding as well, because you have to build it in sections to ship it, obviously. So there's still field welding regardless. So that's why you do mobile. That's why I do mobile. And I would recommend anyone who's looking for a niche in welding, looking for something special to set them aside, I'd recommend mobile. Because there's a lot of people that are willing to pay for that convenience of mobile too. So, let's go over equipment. What would you need? Well, honestly, I started off with a freaking 8,000 watt generator and my Lincoln Power MIG 210 MP. And I ran with that for a very long time. I used that exclusively for a very long time until my generator got stolen. I was in the process of saving up for a actual engine drive, a Bobcat 225, and my generator got stolen. So I had to take what little money I had to buy a replacement, and so I decided to get the Hobart Champion 145, and that was a pretty good investment for the money that I had at the time. I can't argue with the results of that. So, okay, yeah. You don't need to go get a Trailblazer 305G or a Lincoln Ranger 305G. You don't need it to start off with, okay? If somebody's telling you that, just don't listen to them. If you can get it to start off with, great. But I'm going to tell you, as far as equipment in general, this is everything. Don't, as much as you can, own your equipment. Try your best to stay out of debt. Don't go spending 10, 20 grand on a whole new rig and everything, and now you now you've got this rig you're making payments on, and now you're not getting any work, and then the bank can come take it. That's just a horrible position to be in, and I've seen people in that position. It's absolutely horrible. But I've also seen a guy who went and bought a used Trailblazer 305 on a trailer. He bought it all out. Now it's his first rig. So, I mean, more power to him. If you can do it, great. If not, realize you don't have to spend all that money to get started. But eventually have it in mind. You want to eventually upgrade to that better stuff. Because eventually you're going to need it. Okay? And I'm going to be honest, most people get away with a Bobcat 225 or Ranger 225 for the longest time. Okay? So don't think that you need a Trailblazer or the Ranger 305. You don't need it. I'm sure it'd be nice. Because, trust me, I'd really like to have one, but you don't need it. Okay? So, yeah. That's equipment as far as welders go. That's my 2 cents on a welder. But you can get very far with a generator. Like, if I had to start over again with $2,000... I think Jody Welding Tips and Tricks did a really good, he did a video where him and JD were talking about that, and my thought was if I had to start over, it'd probably be a ESAB Mini Arc 161 and an 8,000 watt generator, and my 7-inch DeWalt angle grinder, which I absolutely love that angle grinder. I love it so much I bought 2. That's the only of anything I have 2 of. So that would be it. And of course maybe a DeWalt 4.5 inch grinder. And I still have money left over for rods and whatnot and a half decent helmet. So yeah, for $2,000 you could get set up pretty good and do a whole lot of work. And you don't really necessarily need a bandsaw or a chop saw because a 7-inch angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, a little practice, you can make really nice, fine, clean cuts with it. So there's a video out there where, there's a video out there they did that, and it was quite surprising how much you could do with the angle grinder versus the cutting torch. It was about the same, if not the angle grinder being faster in some circumstances. So, truck. Those of you who saw my video, I got a 1.5 ton truck. Now, I would say optimally a 1 ton is where it's at. I just happened to get a really good deal on a 1.5 ton, so I have a 1.5 ton. But the optimal rig is a 1 ton. That is the preferred rig, is a 1 ton. I used to have a 3/4 ton. I was not impressed, but unfortunately it was a gasser and it was a light duty 3/4 ton. So unfortunately I won't very impressed. It was it really didn't do much more than my 1/2 ton truck, and the reason for that is gearing. I'll tell you, especially you cannot go if you don't have the money to go buy this new 450,000 horsepower truck. Gearing is going to be your lifesaver if you're buying an older truck. So my 89 F-150 has 410 differential gears. The 95 F-250 with a 5.8 liter engine that had 355s was so bad about pulling. And it got pretty bad gas mileage too. It got some terrible gas mileage. But when it came to pulling stuff, I used the F-150 because the 250 really didn't have any more brakes, and its GVRW wasn't that more than the F-150. So I wound up deciding I was keeping 2 trucks around for nothing, so I sold it. Now I have a 1/2 ton and a 1.5 ton truck. I have a truck for beating around town on, and then I have a work truck for doing work. And it's good to have both. But if all you have is a 1/2 ton, you can get very far with a 1/2 ton. Especially if all you're carrying around is a generator in the back and a couple bottles, you can get pretty far with that. Okay, so air compressors. Do you need one? Well, yes and no. It all depends. I use mainly AC powered tools in the field or battery powered tools in the field for just about everything. I don't feel a need for an air compressor on my truck because I'm going to be running an air hose out somewhere, so why would I'll just run a freaking extension cord from my welder to wherever I'm at. I mean, it's really, for me, it's a no-brainer. There are plenty of good, reliable AC powered and battery powered tools. I just did a review on a new Milwaukee M18 drill and impact gun set, and I'm very happy with that. So I definitely, I know that pneumatics are much more reliable, or have been much more reliable than battery powered and AC powered tools, but you don't need an air compressor. And it might actually, because to get a decent truck air compressor, you're going to spend about, oh my goodness, you're going to spend probably about $2,000 or $3,000 on a good air compressor for the back of your truck. So, with that being said, that's as much as a good engine drive. So now you see why, all I need is an angle grinder and a drill and something like that. I spent $200 versus $2,000 and then another couple hundred on the air tools to hook up to it. So, now we understand that. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Now that I'm done dealing with the phone, we can get back into this for tools. Now the tools, or just talking about the angle grinders and whatnot. So, what do I keep on my truck? I keep almost exclusively Milwaukee and DeWalt tools that I know are reliable, because it looks pretty bad when you're out doing mobile work and you gotta stop and drop everything because a tool breaks, and now even though your Harbor Freight whatever the fuck has a lifetime warranty, you still have to drop everything to go exchange it. And you've wasted all that time. And it looks bad too. It looks bad when you have to drop everything to go get something. So that's why I spend the extra money. I'd rather spend the extra money and buy something once than cheap out and buy something twice, even though I may be slightly a hypocrite for saying that, because I have a freaking Harbor Freight air compressor sitting right there, a Harbor Freight bandsaw, and a Harbor Freight drill press over there. And what else do I have from Harbor Freight in here? The Harbor Freight press right there, which can be a little bit scary some days. But I do have some Harbor Freight stuff. But that stuff I don't use on a regular basis. However, I am going to get another bandsaw that's going to live on the truck, and it's going to be a Milwaukee. And the reason for that is I want a good bandsaw in the truck. I know the Harbor Freight one isn't terrible. There it is. I built a stand for it, so it's now a vertical bandsaw. It's pretty neat. I'll do a video about how I did it. I made it out of aluminum. But yeah. So, and these are tools that I don't use on a regular basis. I don't use the press on a regular basis. I don't use the bandsaw or even the drill press on a regular basis, because all of my work is mobile work. So I'm not going to invest a whole lot of money into my shop, because I don't do a lot of shop work. It's almost always exclusively, 90% of the time, it is all mobile. So I'm going to invest where the money's at. And that's the thing. If you start off trying to do mobile and then people want to bring stuff to you, you need to invest where the money's at. Okay? And, invest where the money's at to make your money making easier. And some of these tools will, they'll go back and forth between the two. So, alright. Pricing and customer service. This is going to be fun. Oh boy. Pricing. So, because I'm filming on an Idaho potato right now, well, you can see that it says not negotiable. I've had problems, and that's for me, because I have a bad habit of letting myself negotiate prices, and then after a job I'm mad at myself because I didn't make money and I lost money. So yeah, that's something very, very important. I'm going to give you an example on why I have to make myself so strict on prices. Because I've seen the bad side of people who aren't strict on their prices and how it affects their employees and their business. The company I used to work for, my boss, he would bid so low, it was ridiculous. He would bid on projects so low that he would lose money. he had this idea that as long as he was working, he was making money. And I'm going to tell you right now, just because you're working, if you're working for yourself, just because you're working doesn't mean you're making money. You could be losing money and putting down the best dimes in the world. And you could be losing money or not making money at all. Okay? That's why you have to be very firm and strict with your pricing. I look at it like this, I'm the Lamborghini dealer, all right? Somebody comes to me from the Ford dealership, even though I like Ford, going, hey, I got a price for a Mustang here. Ford said they'd sell me a Mustang for this. What are you going to sell me a Diablo for? Hello, it don't work like that. My Lamborghini Diablo here is not that Mustang, period. And I like Ford, but they're two totally different cars. And that's how it is. Somebody comes to me saying, oh yeah, I found this guy who will do it for $20. That's great. If you found this guy who'll do it for $20, go take it to him. And don't tell him that, obviously. Just be polite. Say, I'm sorry, I can't do it for less. But the mentality is, why are you telling me that? And first of all, why is this guy charging $20? And what usually happens, you find out, is this a guy who has a full-time job, who has a Lincoln AC 225 in his garage, who's like, oh yeah, bring that over, I'll fart around with it, I'll weld it up. And what happens is they use freaking 6013 or 7014 to weld it up, and then it breaks. And what usually happens is that person comes back to you with that broken thing going, yeah, it broke, I need it fixed the right way. So, yeah, you're the Lamborghini dealer, okay? If you're in this for business, and you know what you're doing, you're the Lamborghini dealer, all right? And you need to have that mindset, especially when you lay out a weld. You need to be like, I'm the Lamborghini dealer. I'm putting out the best work I can with what I have, all right? And that will go a long way. So, my prices, the shop is $65 an hour for a $50 minimum. Means I won't do anything for less than $50. You bring me something you want tack welded, $50. That's just how it is. I'm not going to pull myself from another job to do something for $20. It's not going to happen. Alright? And it's plus $20 an hour if I have to bring another employee or helper onto that project too. $20 an hour per helper, employee, etc. Mobile. Going over mobile work here. This is where the money's at. And also, if you're not careful, where the money's not at, okay, is $80 an hour with a 3-hour minimum, plus $20 per helper or employee or welder, besides me, with a $60 trip charge to right around here, $60 trip charge to Lewisburg, Youngsville, Bunn, Franklinton, and to outside that, my next range is Henderson, Creedmoor, Oxford, Zebulon, Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Chapel Hill, $80. Outside of that range, it's a flat $2 a mile. Okay? So, why do you have to charge that much? Well, you have to pay for your commercial insurance on your truck, your personal commercial insurance on you, your liability insurance, your equipment, your gas, your welder, your diesel, if you're using diesel. There's just so much involved in it. And you have to make sure you make that money. You cannot go out that far and then come back lost money. You can't do that, and you can't take the risk. That's why you charge $80 an hour. That's why I charge $80 an hour. There are welders around here that charge $125 an hour for their work. I tried to go with $55 an hour for a long time, thinking that would make ends meet, and it didn't. I was losing money, and I was miserable because I was losing money. At $55 an hour, I was losing money. So that's when I had to come up with a price that worked, write it down, and not waver from it. So you have to find a price that works for you, and you have to stick to it. If anything, go up. Okay? Because you can't make a mistake going up. The worst they'll say is, no, I can't do it. And you don't lose money. Someone says, no, I can't do it, I can't do that, you're not losing money. However, if you go down, they're like, oh yeah, I can do that, there's a good chance you can lose money. Okay? And I'm not goofing around. You could lose money doing that. And I know you want to be nice to people, but that's just how it is. So, and now that we talked about prices, I'm going to tell you, if you do decide to go with price, be very firm about your price, you're going to find two types of people. There are people that don't understand. You explain it to them, they're like, okay, I understand. Then you have people who don't understand, you explain it to them, and then they don't care. They don't think you're worth it. Therefore, they got the mentality, you're going to come out here and you're going to do it for this much because I don't think you're worth that. And I've had people basically tell me that. Okay? And I've also had people, this example, I had a lady want me to go all the way to Zebulon to weld a lawnmower deck, want me to drive. I told her, well, it'd be easier if you can just get it on a trailer or in the back of a truck and bring it to me, and then that's only $50. She didn't even hear $50. She was like, $50? It's only going to take 10 minutes to fix it. I was like, well, I don't do it for less. Well, your Craigslist ad says you do mobile welding. Why can't you come to me? It's like, I can come to you, but it's going to be $160 for me to come to you. She's like, that's just outrageous. You're gouging people. I'm like, I'm not. This is normal pricing. I'm not gouging. You can bring it to me. I'll be glad to fix it at my shop. She's like, well, that's just not an option. Send me a quote. And then she hangs up, sends me her email. I email her a quote, and it was $160. She emails me back and goes, that's completely unacceptable. She goes, it's completely unacceptable. This will only take 10 minutes. I will pay you $40. That's someone who doesn't care. They don't care if you lose money. They don't care. They don't care at all. They want you to sacrifice your well-being to fix their broken stuff. And don't deal with those people. Don't stoop to their level. People start that. Be done with them. Just be done with them. Now, then there are people who just honestly don't know. And I had a guy call me wanting me to fix a mailbox. A lot of people in North Raleigh have these steel cast iron mailboxes. He wanted me to come and fix it. And I told him, well, it'd be better if you can bring it to my shop. Then I can charge you $50. And it just only charged $50. And he was like, well, it's cemented into the ground. How much would it cost for you to come out and do it? I said, well, it'd be $80 for the trip charge and another $80 for the hour of work. And I was bad. I wavered from my minimum of 3 hours. But he was like, well, yeah, I understand why you gotta charge that much, but I can't afford that. I'll find something else that'll work. Okay? And that's someone who they aren't demanding you come out there and do it for nothing. And I find a lot of people that call you on Craigslist or call you from your Craigslist ad are tire kickers and don't care about you. They want you to come and do it for nothing. Also, another thing, Thumbtack, Porch, Home Advisor, everyone on those, I've used them, everyone on those are tire kicking cheap SOBs. Just to call the person, just to call that lead, it's $50, $100, depending on what you're using. It's a gamble. You're really gambling with customers is what it is. And then you have to include the cost of that lead into your pricing when you send them a quote. So you pay $100 to get the phone number of someone who wants welding done. You pay $100 we'll use that as an example. You pay $100 to get their phone number to call them, and you may not get the job or not. They may go with someone else. And they're looking for the cheapest person, not the person who will do it the best. Because because it's free for them to use Home Advisor, Porch, and Thumbtack, but the contractor has to pay. So what happens is, because you have to include that price of calling them to basically, you're purchasing their contact information, you have to include that. Your normal price is now up $100. And chances are, because of that, you're not going to get the job. And then you're competing with a bunch of inexperienced kids, who have a AC-225 or a BuzzBox or something in their grandpa's garage, who are like, oh yeah, I'll do it for $50, no big deal. And they have nothing to lose. That's why I don't use those, and I don't recommend any professional uses them, because they're a fancy scam, is what they are. They're nothing but a fancy scam. And if you're a good welder, word of mouth will spread, and you'll get work because you're a good welder, okay? So that's what you need to rely on. You need to rely on your skill to be a good welder and do a good job and be reliable and be on time, be nice and be polite. And another thing, dealing with those people is be nice and be polite. Don't burn bridges, because some people, they may call and they'll be like, "Oh, I can't afford that." Then later down the road, you don't know what they do. They may be working at a big factory of some sort. And when something breaks in that factory, "Oh man, we need a welder out here." That person might be like, "I called this guy not too far away from me, and he was nice, but pricey. I think he would do a good job." That hasn't happened to me yet, but I've heard that other welders tell me that does happen, so be polite to people. And it goes so far with your reputation to be polite to everyone as best as you can. Just be polite, okay? Be polite, be nice. Don't be rude, but be firm about your pricing, okay? There's nothing wrong with saying, "I'm sorry, I can't do it for less than this." If they get mad and leave you a bad review because you said, "I'm sorry, I just can't do it for less," then they're just an idiot, okay? Then they're just an absolute idiot. All right, so waivers and contracts. I have a waiver of liability contract that I have people sign especially if they drop off a trailer. Okay, trailers, I make people sign waivers, so many waivers, that it ain't even funny. Because I ain't working on a hitch component unless I have a piece of paper saying you ain't gonna sue me for anything that happens to this trailer. And that's basically what my piece of paper says, 3 or 4 different ways. Has a whole section dedicated to trailers. The rest of it is just general, product, construction, whatever. Covers just about generally everything. Fabricated part, fabricated this, fabricated that. However, this waiver is not an excuse for no insurance. It is still very important to have insurance if you can. And I say if you can because I ran for a year without insurance because insurance is extremely hard to get. Just general liability for you as a welder is hard to get. Okay, I had to literally spend 6 months calling, bugging, and pestering insurance people until I could get general liability. And I don't have welder's insurance because you just can't get it. That's not something they're going to just give out as welder's insurance. So I have general business liability insurance. And it's good to have that because that will let you do just about everything. And it's also a very good credit to you to be able to put on your business card, licensed and insured. And business licensing, I'm not going to go into that right now. But it's very, 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 very good to have insurance. It just looks so good for you when you put your business cards up on the wall at Tractor Supply, or you put your business cards at a truck stop, it says licensed and insured. That sets you apart from, the kid with the buzz box or the kid with the Harbor Freight welder, okay? That definitely sets you apart. And it sets you apart and you look much better and professional. And to be honest, if you're a good welder, all you're doing is paying for that insurance to look good and look professional, okay? Has it paid off for me? I don't know. I probably never will know, but yeah. So, and contracts. If someone's asking you to fabricate something, be sure you draw up a plan, and be sure both of you agree on it, and be sure you have a contract that's very, very clear, okay? Because people will try to screw you. They will do weird stuff. I've had people just do the strangest stuff. And I'd ask, "Do you want it painted?" "Oh no, I don't want it painted." Then they come back and go, "I'm not happy with it. I really would have rather had it painted." And they expect me to do it for free. So as soon as I go, "Well, okay, I'll put a quote together for the painting," all of a sudden they're like, "Well, I'm okay with it now." And the scary part about that is if someone decides to, they could quickly and easily make a lawsuit against you about it. Fortunately, it was just something stupid and it was a crazy person. But, yeah, people will do it. So make sure the expectations in your contract are very clear and when you want payment. And also be sure to include in your contract that if they leave something here at your shop for a certain amount of time, that they will pay for that. That they will pick it up with money in hand. Alright? Don't just give it to them. They'll be like, oh, I'll send you a check. No, you come with the check. Okay? You show up with the check, then you can pick it up. Alright? So this wasn't going to be about mobile welding. I think this is just welding in general now, shop work now. But if they're going to leave it at your shop, make sure they pay so much per day past like 2 weeks or something. Because what happens is it becomes a hassle. You're having to move this stuff around to do normal work for other people who are paying. So it becomes a frustration. Alright? So be sure you charge them if they're going to leave something there like that. Or be sure it's in that contract. I even have in my contract, if you leave it there for 6 months, it's mine. And I can sell it. So, example, if I build a trailer for someone, which I don't want to do. I don't want to build trailers. I don't like that liability. But we'll just say, for example, I build someone a custom trailer. And, I spend all that money and time on it. And they disappear for 6 months. I can't get a hold of them. They haven't paid me. What's going to happen is, I'm going to sell that thing. I'm going to sell that trailer to someone to try to recover my losses. And when they come back, I'm going to hand them a bill for the 6 months it sat there. Okay? And they signed a contract already saying they agree to those terms. Okay? So, chances are you have it in writing that they say that. They're not going to dispute it. They're just like, alright, fine, whatever. If anything, they're just not going to pay you for the time it sat there. But you've pretty much hopefully recovered your losses by selling off that thing. But the downside of that is if you weld something together that's not a trailer that you can't sell like that, what do you do? Like I weld some kind of custom fixture for some stupid thing. I can't just put that on Craigslist, be like, oh, come get this random fixture for $2,000. No one's going to pay $2,000 for it. So that's another reason you have that storage fee as well. And also be sure, you're like telling them, hey, once this is done, I expect you to come get it. And, 2 weeks after it's done, I expect you to come get it and, with money in hand. Right? I don't let people leave with their projects unless, especially, individuals. I don't let them leave with their projects unless I have cash or check in hand. 9 times out of 10, I want cash. If it's someone I don't know, I want cash. They go, what do you take? I got a Square card. I got a Square card reader. You can pay with that, but I'm going to have to charge you 10% to make up for what Square takes out. So, you can pay me cash, and if you pay me cash, it's all good. Just give me cash, whatever. Chances are, they can get cash. Don't let them go, I'll give you a check. I can't give you cash. If they're doing that, they don't have the money. Okay? It's like this. You can take your credit card to Walmart and get cash back on your credit card. Okay? You can, if you have the ability to write a good check, if you can write a good check, you have the ability to give it to me in cash. However, the only people I really take checks from are big companies. I only really take checks from big companies because I know they have the money sitting in the bank. So when I deposit it, I get that money. Okay? I like big general contractors. I make sure checks are fine because I'm pretty sure that they got the money. Not to say that a general contractor company wouldn't screw me, but it's much safer with a big company because the chances of you being able to find them and go, hey, where's my money, is much greater too. And also, if it's a big company, you can also, you can do your petty little strike back at them by leaving them a bad review somewhere because they didn't pay you. So it's totally different. But, it's really a petty strike. But, yeah. So, that's my 2 cents on welding and running a business. I hope some of you guys I hope I didn't scare anyone off who was looking into getting into welding, because I'm sure I probably scared someone off. But I definitely want to encourage people who are looking into getting into welding. It's a great career. It's lots of fun, and it's just limitless what you can do, and especially working for yourself. So I mean, I hope I didn't scare anyone off with all that. But just fair warning. This is just how it is, and it's what you're going to have to put up with. But if you can put up with that and do all of this, you're set. Alright, I'm Durbador the Welder. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.